Hi everyone, welcome to Board of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie, you're not, and this is my first look, maybe it's your first look as well, at the brand new Grand Battle map, the grand new battle map Klondike. Klondike, I believe, means Alaska, or at least that's the Russian word for it. This is my old mate Von the Burglar from 1AR clan, Von the Burglar in the mighty big German Tier 10 artillery piece, the GWE100. That's the arty that's got a little bit of armour. If you have a look at it, it's got the from what I can tell from the little I know about it. This is not a tank I've got in my garage, but I'm told that it's got the hull of an E100, which is pretty goddamn impressive when you think about how much armour artillery normally does or doesn't have. A 210mm gun, oh my god, 1100 average damage, 53 penetration, and a maximum stun duration of nearly 14 minimum stun duration of nearly 14 seconds, maximum of 31 seconds. Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And of course there's two different kinds of ammunition, which to me look pretty much the same. Let's have a look at the mini-map. I'll make the mini-map a little bit bigger as Von the Burglar looks towards the Centurion Action X. Looks like he's thinking that CAX is going to start rolling forward. Look at the map, it looks similar to a couple of maps, if you ask me. It looks a little bit similar to Airfield in this bit here. I'm not sure if you can see the cursor, but it's got like a little bit of a peninsula, similar to Airfield where there's water on three sides, a little bit of a bridge. Yeah, it looks like a few of obviously the winter maps as well. Of course, the Grand Battles, it's a hell of a lot bigger. It's 30 versus 30 or up to 30 versus 30. In this game, it's actually 24 versus 24. Now, going by Von's ping, I'm tipping he's playing on the Singapore server. I haven't seen a Grand Battle on the old map or the new on the Australian server since it's came out, but Von the Burglar looking to put a massive German shell into the AMX-50B, the big auto-loading French heavy tank. Of course, heavy by name, not by nature. It hasn't got any armour, really, especially when you compare it to the 210mm gun. Looking towards a Badger, and if you were watching, if you see on the chat, you can see people talking about World of Badgers and World of Tank Destroyers in this Grand Battle. If you look at the team list, of course, you can have a look there. This is clearly when the Badger came out. 7 on the enemy team, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on Von's team, and not many medium tanks. Only four medium tanks on Von's team. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the enemy team. As he looks to get, this is looking a little bit juicy. This is the kind of thing an artillery driver dreams of. It looks like he would have hit, or at least stunned, all 3 of those enemy tanks, and he's relocating after every shot, which I'm told is the right thing to do in a tank destroyer. Looking at the mini-map, which I've made the mini-map as big as we can. You can see there's a big skirmish happening there in the northwest. The Von's team are winning 2-zip. You can see at the top of the screen. That's the score, 2-0, and the percentage, I believe the percentage is how much health each team has. I could be wrong. I reckon I'm about 90% sure. So Von's team might be up 2-zip, but they are down a little bit on health as Von looks towards another Badger, hoping to get this shot aimed. Of course, the German artillery is not known for their accuracy, and of course that Badger disappeared from sight just before the shell went off. So in the bottom left, you're not going to see how Von went with that shot. 2-1 is the score. 2-all the score now on this new map, Klondike, and 2-3, and it looks like Von's team just starting to have a little bit of a, maybe if you're a cricket fan, you might call it a mid-order batting collapse as Von looks back towards the northeast. He's looking over here now. Lots of enemy tanks there, trying to looks like they're trying to flank these heavy tanks and medium tanks up there in the northwest. Now, Icarus M is a very good friend of Von the Burglar, and he is in a platoon with him in the Stritchwagon 103B, who's just picked up a kill, but he's also been taken out, which is a little bit unfortunate. Now, it sounded to me like somebody might have just followed my Twitch channel. That's what that little noise might have been in the background as we have a look at Von's reloading again and aiming towards the enemy Badger. 4-6, he's got to do something. That Badger will hopefully he'll pick himself up a kill. He got looks like he got 315 damage into, add 96. There was 2 Badgers, of course. There's a lot of Badgers this game is getting damage into more tank at once, which is exactly the right thing to do when you're playing one of these big German artillery pieces. Continuing to aim at that group of Badgers. Tanks dropping off left, right and centre. Both teams on similar amount of hit points, 43 versus 45%, and the score 6-7. Von the Burglar keeping that German gun firing towards those enemy tanks. You can see he's done 1,271 damage on the left-hand side of the screen. 550 assisted damage then. That Badger who just got killed by the Object 140 is also one of Von's victims, if you like, as he starts aiming towards the Type 5, who got taken out by that same Object 140. He's having a ripper of a game. He's aiming back up towards the top. It looks like they're still in a little bit of a trouble here with a score on 10 all, 35% versus 36%. You can see the railroad. Have a look around this map. Look at that railroad bridge. That looks absolutely fantastic. Not a bad bit of graphical engineering, would you call it? Just look at the railway line. The railway line goes all the way around there. Looks like a kid's railway set. Now picks up a kill there on that enemy Badger, which again is the right thing to do. Having a look down in the middle of the map, you can see there's plenty of rocks, plenty of undulations in the land on this new map, Klondike, where you can get hulled down in your heavy tanks, or you can use your medium tanks to try and flank. Plenty of rocks, little hills, roads, bridges. I reckon it looks absolutely fantastic. This is the first time I've seen it. Now this little piece of little factory there reminds me a little bit of, is it the Northwest map, which had like a mine in the side as he puts a shot into the back of the Camp Wagon 7. That's a tank which I reckon might be on sale soon after I finish recording this. Yeah, this little factory, like a mill, I suppose, or an oil factory. This looks like something that might have been in. I think it was called Northwest or Serene. Not Serene Coast. Northwest, I reckon, was the map as we look back around towards where the enemy team spawned in this one. Von is moving now. He's not aiming. He's getting the hell out of dodge. He wants to be careful of this Super Conqueror. The score's 14-14, 15-14 now, which normally you would think, oh, that's the end of the game. But, of course, it's this one's 24 versus 24 in this replay. See all the tanks that are dead there. Von trying to hold his end up in the big German artillery, the GWE100, looking towards the 263. Now that 263, that's got a decent amount of armour. Looks like is he going for the water? Is he trying to cut across there? Hopefully the water slows him down and the shell hits. Just clips him. Looks like he might have tracked him, but also took him for 210 hit points. But that Object 263 now no longer spotted. So Von looking back towards where the action's happening. This is looking now towards the eastern or the southeastern part of the map. That's that little peninsula, I guess, with the score on 15-16. Only 6 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. There's there's badges everywhere, and all these badges now coming into play. Von looking towards Object 140, probably decides against it because the shell's going to take a couple of seconds to get there. And of course, that Object 140 could be absolutely anywhere. Decides to shoot anyway. One of the enemy badges gets killed, but a few friendly tanks in a world of trouble. The Object 263 clearly getting focused on by these tanks back here. All the enemy tanks remaining are back here, apart from this FV215b, who looks like he might be keeping an eye out for the Strichtwagen 103. 17-10 now. They're still down by 3 tanks. Remember, it's 17-10, 17-20, and just 4 friendly tanks left. All one heavy tank, the VK7201K. The FV4005, 2 FV4005s, and of course Von in the big German Tier 10 artillery with a score on 18-20. They're up against 6 enemy tanks, which is a Patton, a 140, a Badger, a Grill, Strichtwagen 103, and the the little French artillery piece, 18-10. Von certainly had a pretty good game here. 2,331 damage done that we've seen. 1720 assisted damage. 5.5 minutes left on the counter. Looks like the VK, you can see on the minimap the VK7201K and the FV sort of pulling back away from this engagement. They've got to keep an eye out. They've got to try to do something to keep these enemy tanks spotted. Now Von's realised that there's a Badger and a Grill just been lit up. There's the Object 140. He doesn't have a shot on the Object 140. Fires towards the Badger gets him for 208. Didn't manage to pick up the kill there. Leaves him on 231 hit points. Now he'll be pulling right back, and Von the Burglar clearly aiming towards that Tier 10 British tank destroyer. The new one, of course, that's this is probably the day or the day after this tank first came out, and that's when lots of people were running around. Anyone who was playing Tier 10s when the Badger came out would have seen. Look, I think the most I saw was about 18 or 19 Badgers in one normal Tier 10 battle, and a very good opportunity if you're working towards your medium tank mission where you need to do so much damage to enemy tank destroyers. Then that would certainly be I'd be seeing that as an opportunity, and Von sees an opportunity to get rid of one of those Badgers. Now the deficit's down to 1 with the score on 19-20. We're looking around this southeastern part. The VK picks up the kill on the grill. Now all of a sudden it's an even ball game, 20 versus 20, but there's two medium tanks there, the GWE100 over there and the M46 Patton. That's what Von's looking at now, the Patton. He wants to take a chunk of health out of the American medium tank, but if he pulls behind this building, Von won't have a shot. Looks like he's going to stay in the water, and will that do it? Yes, he gets him for 422, and of course that's one of the changes of artillery. No longer one-shot tanks like that. Not too long ago, people have been playing this game for a while will remember when artillery could pretty much one-shot a lot of medium tanks. That Patton down to 651. Now the FV215 could certainly take him out in one shot. He does. 22-21 is the score now with 3 minutes left on the board on Klondike. Let's have a quick look down here in the south. Just going on. So this is one of the benefits of watching a replay with artillery. You can sort of move the view around. You can see there's another. It looks like a little village down there in the central southeastern part of the map. Some houses. Looks like maybe that might be is that a church or some kind of cathedral? More houses, and if you obviously this is where tanks were having that big battle there. All those Badger versus Badger, as well as some Russian and American tank destroyers down there in the southeast. And over here, a little bit of a forest there. Nice snow-capped mountains. I reckon this looks pretty good. There's a car that looks like. Nope, certainly not my car, but a wall, some kind of walled building. Is that a? I don't know what. Is that some kind of jail, or is it? Who knows what it is? Missed out on Von's shot there towards the GWE100. Looking back on Von's point of view, 2 minutes to go in this battle in Klondike. Von the Burglar on 2 kills. Nearly 3,200 hit points of damage, 1720 assisted damage, and of course some of his shots we haven't seen land, so there have been a couple of blind shots. We're not really sure where they might have gone. He's going to be aiming back towards the FV215s. They've just found the GWE100. Of course, the GWE100 is already safe, but he's not safe from the FV215. Von's going to start moving away as we go back into free camera mode and have a look at these buildings over here. These are the buildings that are a little bit closer to the northeast spawn. There's a lighthouse there. It looks like I don't know, that's the docks there, which is just out of just past the red line. There's some docks there. Von the Burglar is imploring the two FV215s to try and cap what's left. One enemy Batchat artillery with 1 minute left on the timer. Are they going to cap it out? I'm not sure. There's the 1 minute siren as we have a quick look at these buildings. That looks pretty groovy there, that wooden deck. I wonder if there's a way to get to that wooden deck. It looks like it is. Looks like you can possibly get to that wooden deck by maybe or maybe not. Not too sure. No idea where the French Batchat is. You can see one of the FV215s on the cap circle. I don't think anyone's been over here. If I was to guess, I would say that's probably where the little French artillery is. 25 seconds left. There's that car that I mistakenly thought might have been mine. And over here, a little bit more open land, similar to what's there on the northeast spawn. 15 seconds left on the cap. We're still in free camera mode because look, I don't think Von's going to get a shot on this French artillery. Sounds like he might have put one shot there. 1 second left. There's a little railway line as part of a mine site, and unfortunately for Von the Burglar, he has only managed to pull off a draw on that occasion. That's certainly not the website I was hoping to see. There you go. That's the battle result. That's the draw. Unfortunate, very unfortunate for Von not to pull out a win on that occasion, but not a bad replay. An Ace Tagger Mastery Badge for Von the Burglar in the GWE100. Bruiser medal, Gauze for doing 10 times the hit points of his vehicle, and the Confederate. He does say high caliber in the description, but down the bottom he says, oops, yep, don't mind me, that the FV had got the high caliber, it's a Confederate. You can see he did plenty of damage to a hell of a lot of those badges, the FV217 badges. Got third by experience, 5,042 damage, 2 kills, 670 base experience. Made some coin there, but he was using real gold to pay for his premium ammunition, so that certainly would have been a different result if he was paying for the shells with credits. 1720 damage to enemy vehicles stunned by Von, and of course 5,042 damage was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge in this grand battle with his 2 kills in the big bad GWE100. And we'll move on to the second game, just 2 battles in today's video. This one featuring the old mate MatchyHK. Now this is not an artillery game, but it's a tank that some people might describe as artillery. It is it's the FV215b 183. This is now a premium vehicle on the British tech tree. It's Tank Destroyer. And that last game we saw on Klondike, Alaska, that was World of Tank Destroyers if I've ever seen it. MatchyHK from Race Clan. And the FV215b 183 is got HESH rounds loaded, 1750 damage. That's if it pens. 230 penetration, 1750 hit points of damage. That's why it's called the Death Star, folks. Armor piercing round, 1150 damage, 310 penetration. So the difference is 80 millimeters of penetration with the 2 rounds. But of course, HESH works similar to high explosive rounds. So if you don't pen, you can get some splash damage. But when they do pen, 1750 damage in one shot. It is just mind blowing. You can also see Matchy's got Pudding and Tea for a 10% bonus as he fires without really aiming, and it doesn't really hit anything. That Pudding and Tea is certainly going to help the reload, because it is a long reload on this tank. It's, you know, reload of over 20 seconds. You can see that he put that in the chat logs by hitting the F8 key. It does take a long time to aim and to reload, and I'm guessing reload time probably can be a concern, especially if you're shooting at long distance. But aim time, even if you're shooting at short distance in this tank, aim time can be, if you want to get the aim time down, if you want to pull off a few snapshots, especially if you're trying to get shot at by lightly armoured tanks where you'll penetrate the shots all day long. 0-all is the score on Himmelsdorf. He's found, and that's what I'm talking about, he's found an AMX-30. He clearly penetrated that one for 1,550 hit points, and that's what it is, the Death Star. If you're in a medium tank, especially something like the AMX-30, especially a some kind of French tank, then wow, you really want to giggle when you penetrate those shots. He's trying to look towards the Tiger, the T25 Pilot, I should say. Didn't quite land that one, and it's not. You can't not snipe with this tank, because if you get up too close and personal, everybody knows that it's going to take you well over 20 seconds to reload. So we'll be fairly triggered after that one. But you know, if you're up close and personal without any backup, then other tanks are just going to flank you, get behind you, and laugh at you all day long. But I suppose medium range engagements is what to do. I'm not sure. He's switched to armor piercing rounds now. This is not a bad tactic, because he's looking towards a Type 5 Heavy, I'm guessing, thinking he's probably not going to penetrate the Type 5 Heavy with the HESH rounds. In fact, it would be an absolute miracle if he did. So he's looking towards him and wants to really take some hit points out of that Japanese heavy tank. Gets him for 1,010 hit points. Again, that was with the armor piercing rounds. He got him down to 832, so he's sticking with the armor piercing rounds. Now, the armor piercing rounds in this tank are the standard rounds. Still takes the same amount of time to load or to reload. MatchyHK, community contributor, and genuine, all-round, nice guy and brilliant tanker. He's looking around now, wants to make sure nobody can flank him. If he does get hit by artillery again, he can unstun his crew if he needs to, because his first aid kit has been taken off the cooldown. Playing around here, he's got a defender and the T95E6 in the platoon. That's the tier 10 American medium tank. Doesn't scratch the Japanese Type 5 Heavy. Pulls back and waiting for that tank to reload. He's already got 2,500 damage done. The score's 610. Clearly looking towards that Japanese heavy tank. Wants to make the most of this. He doesn't have time to aim, but he does. He's lucky enough to land the shot. Blocks a shot from the UDES. Berging shoots him and tracks him. He fixes the tracks with a quick tap of the repair kit and continues to move forward with the score on 7-4 on Himmelsdorf. Asking the FV215b to stop, but he clearly doesn't. He's like, stop, don't go around the corner. He goes around the corner and gets derped. MatchyHK puts a shot into the side of the E50M for 1,229 hit points. Now, I'm not sure if that was a high roll with AP or a non-pen. Well, who knows what it could have been. 2 kills to MatchyHK, 4,240 damage, 8-7 is the score as his platoon mate, IE30, in the T95E6, picks up his first kill. Looking towards the VK100. That certainly did it, 900 damage for that kill. Brings his damage count up to 5,140 hit points. And he's looking towards the Nameless. Wondering where that Nameless is going to be. Pulling around the corner, he's just about loaded. Doesn't matter, the Nameless gets taken out by artillery. The M40, M43 is just about loaded. One of those HESH rounds. Now this tank used to only have 12 rounds. It's got a bit of a buff recently. It's got 20 rounds, which is, you might think 20 isn't much more than 12. Well, it's an increase of 55% by my Sam's. Looking around for that E50. There's the E50 hiding around in that corner. Looks like the E50 just fired, got the kill on the defender. Matchy's hoping to surprise him. Is he going to? He's getting a bit excited thinking about it, but he won't. How did that shot hit? He hadn't even aimed. It looked like he was even thinking about changing his mind, and maybe he thought, stuff it, I'll just shoot. And who knows who guided that shot into the back of the tier 10 Russian medium tank. 12-10's the score. MatchyHK in the FV215b 183 running around Himmelsdorf. 13-10. Look, fires clutch to try and kill the batch at 155.55 Gran Nager before he killed himself. Of course, the shot didn't land, and now he's going to try and chase down the Pershing. That Pershing not having a bad game. He's on 2 kills. He's just took a brilliant catch from artillery. T95E6 might get taken out. Does get taken out by the Pershing and MatchyHK. Pershing still got a bit of crew stun there, so it's going to take him a while to get up this hill. But then again, it's going to take Matchy a while to get up this hill as well. Now the Pershing no longer has a stunned crew. That Pershing, you would imagine, will outrun Matchy up this hill if he needs to. Being very patient, patiently driving up the hill. Pershing not running away. Artillery, looks like the artillery might have tracked him. And Matchy will say, thank you very much. I'll pick up my 5th kill. Looks like that ISU-152 wasn't too happy. He was clearly hoping to pick up a kill as well. And it's not a bad result. My old mate, MatchyHK from Raise Clan, community contributor in the FV215b 183, which is now a special vehicle, similar to a premium tank, I guess you could say, in the way that you can now share the crew. If you had an FV215b 183 before the Badger was introduced, you'll now have both, and the crew can move between the two. I continue to be surprised as to how many people don't understand that, but you can certainly move crew between those two tanks for no penalty whatsoever, and they can continue to earn experience and all that kind of stuff. But if you've been playing for as long as I have, you should already know that, but some people don't. Anyway, ace tanker for MatchyHK from Raise Clan, the Hand of God, Bruiser Metal, Duelist, Fighter, Fire for Effect, Steel Wall, and the High Caliber. Topped the score chart, 6,201 damage, 5 kills, 1,109 base experience. That's on the low side for a tier 10 tank, for an ace. But I guess he just made it. I guess he scraped through. Well done to MatchyHK. If that had been an all tier 10 game, that base experience score would have been higher because some of the damage was done to tier 8s. But let's not take anything away from it. It was a pretty good carry. 7.5 minutes, cost him 35,500 credits, but well worth it for an epic replay in the FV215b 183. So there you have it, folks. Thank you very much for the replays. That's my first look at the new map, Alaska. For Grand Battles, I haven't seen it yet. Haven't had a game in it yet from my old mate Von the Burglar in the GWE100 and MatchyHK in the FV215b. Thank you very much for the replays, lads. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care and see you all next time.